What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Edward, and on Instagram I go by Trail Ready Forerunner. Welcome. So in this video, we're gonna go over my thoughts on this hood solar panel. So the guys over at Lensun Solar did send this panel over for me to try out. They are not paying me for a video, and I'm not getting any commission on any sales. So this is kind of like my non-biased video towards the panel. This is technically not made for the 3rd gen Forerunner. If you have a 4th gen and a 5th gen Forerunner, this panel will fit perfectly. You won't need to modify anything to make it work. For us 3rd gen users, you are going to have to modify it, but overall it's finally on and it's collecting power. Let's go over what you get in the box. So when you purchase this solar panel, all you're going to receive is the solar panel, this box that's already attached, and the cable with the 2 ends that go into extensions that go to your solar charge controller. So the solar charge controller isn't included in this cost. You're only getting the solar panel. You are going to have to put vinyl on your hood. I've seen people do clear vinyl, and you can actually get it to where it just outlines the solar panel so you don't see vinyl on the outside of it. Or you can wrap your hood like I did. I just wrapped it myself. It's fairly simple. If you guys want a video, I might put out a video showing you guys how to DIY wrap yourself if you're gonna install this solar panel. But yeah, that's all you get. So you're also gonna have to buy some double-sided tape to go along the edge of the whole panel. And that's what's holding this panel down right now. But let's move on to why I wanted to test this panel out and see its capabilities. So as you guys know, or if you don't know, I already have a rooftop tent, max tracks in the front, an awning, and I don't have much room to add more stuff. So one of those aluminum solar panels, it just won't fit. So this was my next best option, just because you don't use your hood and it's constantly getting sun in the front. So as we speak, we're pulling in about 23 watts of power. This solar panel is rated at 100 watts. I've been doing testing here and there and going back and forth with the manufacturer. I think I peaked out at about 40 watts one time. That was kind of like my main reason on partnering up with Lensun, is because I know this panel isn't sufficient enough to run all of my camera equipment, electronics, fridge, standalone, but I do have a larger battery that is my starter battery. So I only have one battery. And I ran into a situation where a couple of trips ago, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here, but I ended up draining my battery by accident and not being able to start the car. Luckily, I had people there and they were able to give me a jump, but knowing that when I go to sleep and the fridge is on, I use the camp lights, charging my camera gear, I know in the morning that this thing is giving power to my starter battery. So bottom line, it's just peace of mind knowing that this thing is constantly absorbing the sun's energy and topping off my battery. So that's probably the biggest reason why. All right, I can hear the wind picking up, but let's go somewhere a little more controlled where we can talk about the pros and cons of having a solar panel on your hood. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're back. We're not in much more controlled environment. It's a windy day today, but a couple of months have actually passed by since I shot that first part. I wanted to finish this video as well as give you guys a quick update on where I'm at. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I definitely encourage you to do so. Currently, I found out that I have a small head gasket leak in my engine, and my coolant and oil ended up mixing in the engine. I didn't really drive it, and I turned it on, I saw the smoke, turned it off, checked it, and sure enough, blown head gasket. So I'm in the process of engine swapping this engine with a JDM engine. It's gonna be the same engine, just lower miles. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Let's get back to what you guys are watching the video for though. So as far as the solar panel, I was gonna do an install video, but I messed up when installing mine. So I didn't see it right for me to put out an install video when I messed up. But I thought it'd be important to share it with you guys so you guys don't do the same mistake I made. So what happened is I saw another video on a guy installing this, but his hood I think was a little flatter. So if you have a 5th gen, 4th gen, or any other vehicle that you're installing this in, you might be able to get pull off what he did, but it didn't work for me. And you can see both corners are starting to, these are pinching up, which is slowly releasing the tape. I mean, it hasn't gone past here, but it looks ugly, and I'm gonna redo it. So what he suggested is to do the back first, or the top, then the front you stick down. Once you got that, you break the sides up into 2 portions. So you do there's a front portion and then the rear side portion on both sides. And so I did this back side, pressed it all down, got it good. Then I took this front portion side off. But what happened is when I was pushing down, it created this bump here, this hump. And that hump slowly started lifting. And because there wasn't enough room for this bump to flow down, it pretty much stuck with this hump here as well as there. There's another little bump over there, but I'm gonna redo this. And the way I think I'm gonna redo it is I'll probably use a fish line to take the bottom portion off, at least half maybe. I'll see how it goes, and then retape it, and then pretty much maybe do the sides first, and then come in and do the front to hopefully get rid of this bump. But we'll see when we get there. Just make sure it's a really warm day when you are installing this, because if you do this first thing in the morning and it's cold out, this fiberglass isn't as flexible as it is if it's warmed up. So that's where I'm at with the install. There's no install video, but I might put in clips of prepping it and stuff. So I hope you guys have more success installing it the first time. Now let's get into the pros and cons like I promised. We'll go over the cons first, just to kind of get those out of the way. There aren't that many, and I did do a written review on this product for Lensun solar panels. Another thing that I mentioned and that they're gonna fix is the vinyl situation. So this doesn't come with the vinyl. Other companies supply you with the vinyl that you can put down first so that this doesn't scratch or mar your paint from installation, especially if you have a brand new vehicle. When you buy the solar panel, you just get the solar panel. You don't get any adhesive, which I wish they did supply you with adhesive. The only reason why is I use 3M adhesive, and I'm not sure if that's strong enough to keep this down. Just because if you can see here, there's a small bubble that's starting to come up, and I don't know if that's just the adhesive not being that great. Maybe I needed a stronger bonding adhesive, but if they supply it, it might help with it not coming up that way. Another thing I wish they would fix is I don't think it needs these rivets. I've seen one dude install it with bolts here, but he had an older Land Cruiser. But even then, like, I don't know. That I wish they had I think they should have an option where either these are black, or you can get it with rivets, or you get it without. Another thing you need to realize is when I got this solar panel, they sent me the dimensions and I measured everything, and I thought it would fit due to the dimensions that were given. But the problem is there's a lot of curvature in this hood. So even though the manufacturer told me not to, I had to modify this just a little bit. And by modifying, all I did is I took a track saw and I trimmed a little bit of this excess fiberglass just to kind of give me a smaller footprint. And on the 3rd gen, it fits, but it would fit even better if it was a little bit smaller. So I'll notate the dimensions down below if you guys kind of want to see what this dimension is compared to the dimensions that it needs to be. I told this to the manufacturer. Hopefully they come out with the 3rd gen version, which is just a little bit smaller, because I know a lot of you guys don't have a track saw to cut perfect straight lines. But I also use the scissors to like round it off, make it look nice. Another thing that you have to do if you have a 3rd gen is you have to get rid of your windshield wiper. What are these things called? Sprayers? Your window sprayers? I ended up covering them. I don't use those sprayers because the reservoir broke on me a long time ago off-roading, so I never replaced it. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But if it is a big deal and you do use them, what I was going to do for the install video was install some rising sprayers in these vents here. And all you do is you bolt on and then you connect the hose that goes to the existing ones to those sprayers, and then it'll spray up this way, almost like the newer generation 4Runners. So another con is that when you do buy this, obviously I stated before, it just comes with the solar panel. Other companies provide the solar charge controller. The only con that I see, I guess it's a good and bad, but since they don't provide it, I was able to upgrade and spend that extra money on the Victron smart solar charge controller, so that I'm able to monitor the power input, output of my whole system, which is really nice. It's not for everybody, but it's nice to have. If you don't want to spend that much on a solar charge controller, there is another option. I'll link a couple down below that I was looking at before getting that one. You don't need anything expensive. I think they have them for like 20, 25 bucks on Amazon, and they do a decent job at taking this and protecting your battery from overcharging. And then lastly is the performance. So I never got the 100 watts that they claim that this would pull. The max I've gotten from this panel is about 45. And I tried on a perfect condition on a day like this where the sun's right above to charge. And I haven't gotten it, but I'll say again, I'm not a solar panel expert. This is my first solar panel, but I know you're supposed to, it will replace the amount of power that you're drawing. Because I noticed when I do have my fridge plugged in and accessories on, this pulls in more, and the solar charge controller then charges your battery even faster. So I don't know if I wasn't drawing as much to pull that much, or if it's something in my system, or it's just a solar panel, but it's just something to look out for. And then last but not least is longevity. I've had this for maybe 4 or 5 months already. I haven't had any issues, and it's performed decently well. The one thing that I'm worried about is, since there's not that much air gap for airflow, there's no way for this to dissipate the heat, and especially being under the hood, heat's solar's worst enemy, I guess, from what I've researched. And so I don't know the longevity of these solar panels. I heard flexible solar panels don't have the longest life expectancy, but that's yet to be seen. I can only speak for the amount of time that I've had it. All right, enough of the cons. Let's go on things that I really enjoy about this solar panel. So So the pros are obviously it charges my battery and it's constantly charging as long as you're in the sun. So I did a test where I had the fridge on for I think it was 4 weeks straight. And I didn't really turn on the car. I kind of just let it sit and let the solar panel recharge the system every morning. And I noticed by around 1 o'clock, the battery would be at 100%. So that's something that really, really made me happy. Another pro is that, as you can see, or if you know by the truck, is I'm lacking space. My family is a family of 4. Me, my wife, and my 2 little girls, and their car seats are pretty decent size, so they take up a lot of room. And this car isn't that big, so I could have probably fit a foldable panel, which I might get to kind of implement in my system to get even more power. But other than that, the roof rack is full, so there's no way of putting one on that's going to get power constantly. And this was pretty much your only option at this point, at least for my case scenario. But I love having this thing on the hood, collecting power without me even doing anything. I set it and forget it. I sound like an infomercial now. And I don't have to worry about it. It's just, as long as I'm in the sun, I'm collecting power and I'm topping off my battery, which I love. And that's like the biggest pro about a unit like this, is that you don't need to worry about it. You're constantly getting power as long as you're under the sun. So it's been about a month since my car hasn't ran. And looking at the app, I'm at 100% power, which means this thing is doing its job. I don't have an engine to start, so I can't start it up to kind of top off the battery and maintain the battery. I do have an optimal battery, not an optimal. I do have an Odyssey battery, which aren't cheap. And if you don't maintain them and top them off constantly, you could damage and shorten its life expectancy. So having this thing on, I don't have to worry about my battery going bad, which I absolutely love. Currently, the battery is at 18 volts. Let me double check. Did I say 18 volts? Holy crap. Currently, my battery is at 13.81 volts, which is full. The solar panel is pulling only 2 watts of power, and that's because the solar charge controller is throttling it back so that I'm not sending too much watts into my battery. But it is pulling 22.54 watts of power, and it's stopping at the solar charge controller. And the solar charge controller is in a float state right now, which means it's at 100%, and it's just topping off the battery slowly. And that's pretty much it. I'm pulling in 0.10 amps. But there's not that many things on, so it doesn't have to work very hard right now. But I'm super happy with the product. I definitely recommend it if you're in the market for a solar panel. But yeah, I thank you guys for watching the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm let other people find my channel. Thank you guys so much for the continued support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.